So this is the joying unit that's been installed into my Passat B6. It really looks good having been installed. Big screen, and gives the car a good finish with the radio design. However, that aside, there are quite a few other things which are not good about this radio, and I'll walk you through them really quickly. So firstly, this unit does not have any on-off button. This is not being made clear when you purchase it, and not having an on-off button presents quite a few annoying scenarios. Firstly, when you put the key in, the radio turns on automatically. When you take the key out, it turns off. So effectively, your on-off button for the radio is your key fob being inserted into the car. Other than this, you have no control over the on-off functionality of this radio. This means that should you set out on your journey and you're traveling and you don't want the radio to be on anymore, and you turn it off while you're traveling and you're on the motorway, say the M25, there is no way to turn this back on again unless you pull over, turn your car off, and put the fob back in again. So once you've turned this off, it's off for the rest of your journey. So if you set out on a 3-hour journey, you're forced to pull over to reinsert the fob to turn the radio back on again, which I find very inconvenient. Additionally, the previous VW radio that came with the car, you would simply turn the radio on and this would operate autonomously to your key fob insertion to start the car. So it would go purely on the grounds of what you've done last to the radio and whether it's on or off, which is a lot more suitable. Sometimes I only turn the radio on for 1 day a week while I'm traveling, and the other 4 days I won't use it at all. But annoyingly, every time I insert the fob, the radio comes on, which is not a desired effect. So every time I travel, I have to turn the radio off. The next awkward feature is, should you be traveling, you want to adjust the volume, you have to very carefully touch this icon right at the top over here, and then you have to very carefully navigate and touch this icon over here to adjust the volume. This detracts from taking your concentration off the road and is not really great at all. This button could be made a lot bigger so that you don't have to carefully navigate and press exactly on the spot and carefully try and find the exact spot while you're traveling. What they could have done as well is rather just have a 2-finger swipe up and down to adjust the volume, which will keep your eye on the road and not take your concentration away from the road. But this has not been thought about. It's just left down to this finicky tiny little volume knob, and you have to press it twice in order to adjust the volume. In addition to that, you have the equaliser here. So the equaliser, should you wish to travel and adjust the equaliser at the same time, this is not possible without using a lot of focus and reaching to this very tiny little dot here and then adjusting it. You also have a very short range to adjust the equaliser, so it's very easy to get it wrong. As soon as you lift your finger, it tends to jump up or down, not very accurate at all. They could have spread this movement over a much wider range and also possibly enabled a touch pad at the bottom and at the top to accurately just increment by 1 or less. But clearly this hasn't been thought about. So I'm hoping that in further firmware releases they will bring out some much better thought out concepts. Right now I'm a little bit disappointed in this radio. Whoever would be buying this, I would carefully think about these features, these lacking features that have not been incorporated, and wait until this has been resolved. Possibly it might never get resolved. I think they probably have other more important issues to continue with, and this will just be simply left and discarded, and there will not be enough updates to make this radio a lot more usable and friendly. Thanks for watching my YouTube. Sorry about the rant, but I paid a lot of money for this radio, and these are basic features that have made this radio very much unusable to me.